When I was around 17 years old, I had what many people would call an awakening, and it was a strong one. Maybe you have that little inner voice, don't you? That tells you life doesn't have to be this way, life can be different, life should be different, and that you are meant for so much more. You can try and change everything outside you, change cities, change relationships, change jobs, change this, change that. That if you don't change inside as well, you will just bring your problems along and feel like they're following you. The truth is, they're not following you, they are you. So, if you want to heal the world, heal yourself first. Welcome to the first episode of Talk the Walk. I'm Filipe, and I will be talking about the walk. What walk will I be talking about? Well, I'm going to be talking about the journey of healing, of growth, of awakening, of thriving. And if that's you, if you are currently on your own journey of healing, awakening, growth, thriving, or if you are wanting to begin that journey and you're looking for the best guidance, then you're in the right place. So why am I talking about this? Who am I to be talking about this? First, I'm just another person like you who's also walking my own journey. This started for me way back when I was much younger, maybe around 17 years old. Even before that, I was always interested in the matters of the mind. But when I was around 17 years old, I had what many people would call an awakening, and it was a strong one. So what happened was that it was like suddenly my consciousness expanded a lot, my mind expanded, and a much more conscious version of me entered into my life than before. The problem is that this increased awareness and consciousness, especially in such a sudden way, can and does actually bring with it its challenges, quite difficult challenges. And the biggest challenge is really that your entire world starts crumbling down because you used to see the world in a certain way with a certain meaning. You used to see yourself in a certain way with a certain identity. You used to see others and your relationships in a certain way. And all of that changes and crumbles down. And you haven't yet formed a new meaning and a new way of seeing the world. You get stuck into that void, that darkness between the old you that has crumbled and the new you that hasn't formed yet. And that can be a very, very difficult moment. Again, I will talk about this later, called the dark night of the soul. And it can be very, very hard to navigate. It can bring very difficult feelings, the destruction of your world, identity crisis, anxiety, depression, big life changes, confusion, feeling lost. That was certainly that for me. And the biggest cause was something spontaneous from within, that big increase in consciousness. It's really like a more conscious version of me just came in and say, hi, now I'm here, right? Now I'm here. Now, before it was still me, but not the full, more conscious me. Then suddenly more conscious me comes in. That was very spontaneous, very internal. But of course, there are also external causes and conditions that helped this, what we could call awakening. And those were mainly me growing up to the brink of adulthood. I was becoming an adult, right? And I was getting to the point of life where you get asked to choose what you want to do with the rest of your life. You have to choose a path, a career, an education, whatever that is. And you get thrown into the adult world without really knowing anything about that. I was looking around me and I was seeing the adult world and how adults lived mostly. I was very discouraged by that. It was nothing of what I wanted for my own life. I saw most people living in a state of constant stress, anxiety, disconnected from themselves, other life, the universe, spirituality, love, meaning and purpose in life, almost acting robotically all the time. Everyone seemed to be stuck in that way of living, maybe not even believing there is another way or not thinking it's possible. Maybe they just didn't know how to live in a different way, how to live in an authentic, meaningful, thriving, beautiful way. And I knew I didn't want my life to be like that. That's not what I wanted for sure. Most importantly, I knew that life didn't have to be like that. Some voice inside me, some inner voice, told me that life can be different, much better, more beautiful, happier, more connected, with peace, with love, with beautiful relationships, with purpose. And just like when you wake up feeling excited for your life, for your day. I knew there was a voice inside me that told me life could and should be like that. Maybe you have that voice too. Maybe you have that little inner voice, don't you? That tells you life doesn't have to be this way. Life can be different. Life should be different, and that you are meant for so much more. But most people are so afraid of listening to that voice because of what it means, because of the changes and the crumbling down that it will bring to their world. Accepting that, listening to that voice can be very scary because it will mean that your current world, as you live it, as you see it, will crumble. And that's very scary. Most people are not ready for that, right? So they don't listen to the voice, or maybe they don't really think it's possible. So it's just a nagging voice. They say, okay, it's beautiful, but that's not really possible. So they don't listen to it because they don't know how to do it. And because they don't know how to do it, then they think it's not possible. They say to themselves, life is just the way it is. This is just life. I'm just the way I am. There's nothing we can do to change it. We just need to cope and try to still get something cool out of life. Maybe 2 weeks of vacation per year. And because you're already stressed, then those 2 weeks end up being not so nice, but people don't think that life can be better. So they don't listen to that voice. But I believe that everyone has that little voice telling them that they're meant for so much more. Life is meant to be different, better, more beautiful. Even if they try their best not to listen to that voice is there somewhere. Because we are meant for so much more. We are meant to grow, to shine our light with our love, our purpose, to thrive in life and not just cope. We are all meant for that. And I decided to listen to that voice. First, because it was very strong in me. And second, because I didn't want any other way of living in my life. Any other way of living was not going to be worth it for me. It was not going to make sense for me to live any other way. And most importantly, because I also knew inside me that it was possible. So I just needed to find the path to get to live that life, to create that life. And most importantly, I had to understand what obstacles were preventing me from living that life and remove those obstacles. And as I started to look at my own life, but not only at my own life, also at the life of those around me and how they behaved and how they felt and the entire world as a whole, I quickly realized that the obstacles to happiness, to well-being, to growth, to connection, to authenticity, to peace, in each person's life, my own, those around me, and the world as a whole, was very clear. For the most part, it was not some external condition, not some external situation, 99% of the times. It was internal. It was something inside the person, inside myself, inside other people, inside humanity, our own inner patterns, emotions, thoughts, ways of thinking, ways of behaving, ideas, belief, blocks. All of those were the real obstacles to being able to live a better, happier, more fulfilling life. Instead, we're creating a life of being stuck and maybe pain and suffering. That was very clear to me as I looked around. Very clear. Because people in this world try to change everything outside themselves. They try to change their external circumstances. They invent new technologies, distractions, entertainment. If you look around, we have so much technology. We're so advanced in technology. And still, people are suffering maybe more than before. There might be more conflicts. Inside themselves, people are not at peace. People are suffering. People have conflicts outside and inside, even with all the technology, comforts, entertainment, luxuries. Sometimes you see the people with the biggest luxuries being the ones that struggle the most with their own inner world, because it becomes clear that they don't have an escape, right? Even with all the entertainment, even with all the luxury, they are still suffering. People can change their external circumstances as much as they want, that if they do not change their internal circumstances, their internal world and state, they will end up creating and living the same problems, the same life as before, maybe in a different form or shape, but still the same problem, still the same life. As long as they don't solve their inner world first. You can try and change everything outside you, change cities, change relationships, change jobs, change this, change that. That if you don't change inside as well, you will just bring your problems along and feel like they're following you. The truth is, they're not following you. They are you. So you bring them along wherever you go because you bring yourself along wherever you go. Our entire life is created by ourselves, by our behaviors, by how we respond, by how we create our life, and that comes from within. And so that became very clear to me that the real obstacles were inside, and that meant the solution had to be inside as well. And so, because that was so clear to me, I set on a path of self-discovery, of self-transformation. I started doing a lot of meditation by myself without ever having studied or learned about it. Meditation, looking inside, expanding my mind. And I went on a very, very profound journey of inner discovery, of inner transformation. And that really changed my life in amazing ways. And it wasn't easy. I had to meet my own darkest shadows, scariest fears, my deepest wounds. And of course, it's a process that I continue to do. We're always walking the path. While we're humans, we'll be walking this journey. But that journey was not as smooth and easy. It was a challenging journey, facing my deepest shadows, deepest fears, deepest wounds. If you've been walking this path already for some time, you know there are many obstacles, many challenges, many pitfalls, dead ends, risks. And I think I encountered them all, or most of them. So, first person experience there. But instead of being overwhelmed by them and letting myself go out and quit and give up, I actually learned how to turn those challenges into fuel for my growth, for my process. So use them to grow even more, to expand, to heal even more. And through this entire journey, my consciousness greatly expanded. My insight into the nature of my mind, my emotions, how they work, the universe, ourselves. I had a lot of insight into those because of going deep and understanding the causes and functioning of our inner blocks and patterns, of our emotions, thought, minds, of our potential and our limitations. So for happiness and suffering, and what creates one and the other. From that understanding, that insight, that wisdom, that experience, I was able to transform myself, my mind and my emotions in a profound way. That really changed my life in incredible ways. I find myself with much more spaciousness in my life. Space to make choices that benefit me and others and the world, and that aligned with my goals and my purpose, rather than the opposite. Because when my emotions come up, I have the space between the trigger and the response to make a conscious, constructive, mindful choice, instead of being overwhelmed and controlled by them and making regrettable, automatic, blind decisions. So it's that famous thing of learning to respond rather than react. And I find that I have much more space in that in my life right now. And that changes everything. That changes my relationships, my work, my health, my personal development, and my goals. Anything that I want to achieve. It changes that. It changes my transformation. And so I feel much more able to have meaningful relationships, to love, truly love, and to be loved as well. Sometimes it's harder for people to be loved than to love. I find myself feeling able to experience joy. Even if nothing good is happening in the external world, I can have a genuine happiness coming from the inside, even when nothing good is happening outside. And likewise, I can also experience those so-called negative emotions, the unpleasant emotions that people usually don't like. I can experience them without being disturbed by them, whether that is anger, sadness, frustration, fear, anxiety, shame, guilt. Most of the time I can be with those emotions without being disturbed by them. So it's like they stop being negative. And I find myself able to feel balanced, to stay balanced, no matter what's happening around me. It doesn't depend on the external world anymore. It just depends on me. And my students and friends ask me how I can stay so calm even when I'm facing challenges or chaos. And that's the answer. It's from this work that I've done and continue to do. And there's so much more to that I cannot even describe everything here. I'm able to understand myself and why I'm feeling a certain way most of the time. And I'm also able to understand others very well, usually better than they can understand themselves. And I'm very good at helping them understand themselves, which is a big reason why I do this work, helping people understand themselves. And that also helps me come up with the best solutions to problems, solutions that to work well and are simple, because I can understand the root cause of the problems people are experiencing, which are almost every time based on their own emotions and traumas and blocks. My life has changed in beautiful ways. It's really not the same. And the thing is, then I looked around me and I saw my friends, my family, strangers, and everyone in the world still living in that same old way, stressed, stuck, anxious, overwhelmed, robotic, without purpose, without genuine love, without connection to themselves, others, and the world. And most people just having this inner void, this inner dissatisfaction that they don't know how to feel. So they're just trying to distract themselves all the time with entertainment, with mind-numbing activities, to distract themselves from that void that they cannot feel. So I had changed, but the world around me hadn't changed. And I could see the problem. Now I could see the problem not only in each person's individual life, but also in the world. When most people are like that individually, then that manifests in a world that's also like that, full of conflict, misunderstanding, sadness, suffering, and injustice. And so I could see both of those. But I could also see the solution now. And I could see that the solution to people's problems, their suffering, their unhappiness, their dissatisfaction, was in doing this same inner work that I did and continue to do. And the solution to the world as well. I felt deep inside me that that was my mission here, my purpose, and something that I honestly love to do, which is to help people do this inner work of understanding themselves, healing themselves, transforming themselves, balancing themselves, so that they can experience the same transformation and healing that I did, or even better. And through that, by healing one person at a time, we can heal the world. People are always trying to think about the solutions to the big world's problems. How can we solve that? How can we heal the world? And I'd like to tell you, you don't need to heal the world, and you don't need to solve the problems of the world, and you can't. Because the root of those are in our human minds, collectively. But the collective is formed of the individuals. The collective is created by the individuals, not the other way around. The collective influences the individuals, but our power is within ourselves, not outside. So the best way, and the only way that we can help heal the world and solve the problems of the world is to heal ourselves and solve our inner problems. And when you do that inside yourself, that will then manifest outside yourself in your own personal life. Your life, when you improve your inner world, your outer world will improve. Your life in all its areas will improve, whether that is your relationships, your health, your well-being, your career, business, personal development, spirituality, your goals, whatever that is, it will improve because you have improved inside. And guess what's common between you and all areas of your life? It's you, your mind, your emotions. So when you improve yourself, you improve your life in all these areas. But that not only has an impact on your own personal life, it also has an impact on those around you. So it's like a domino effect, a ripple effect. And if everyone or a big part of people do this work, then naturally we will also help the world as a whole heal, transform, and solve its problems and become what it has potential to become. So if you want to heal the world, heal yourself first. Just focus on that. By doing that, you will help the world heal. And of course, inspire others to do the same. Help others do the same. And that's my job, my goal, my mission and purpose here, which is also why I'm doing these videos and this podcast. So if you want to contribute to helping the world heal, if you want to inspire others to do this work of healing, transformation, self-understanding, growth, then share this podcast, share this video, share this episode with someone you know, someone that you love, or someone that you feel could benefit from listening to this show, from listening to this podcast, to these ideas, advice, insights, wisdom. This podcast, this project depends on you to grow. There's no other way it will grow other than you sharing it. So my only ask to you is please share this with someone that might be interested, that could benefit from this. That's the only way this will reach more people. Thank you. So yeah, as I was saying, this is the mission of this podcast, and honestly, all my work is to help people like you walk this path of healing, of self-discovery, of transformation, of awakening, of growth. And if that's you, if you're walking this path, or if you want to start walking this path, then welcome. Welcome, you're in the right place. I hope to serve you. Everything that I'm going to be sharing here, what's the source of it all? What's the source of all the wisdom, techniques, advice, ideas, knowledge that I'll be sharing with you here? Well, the main source is my own personal path and practice, which I continue to do every day. Most of my insight and wisdom and understanding comes from doing the work myself, going deep into the corners of my mind, of my emotions, exploring them, understanding them, healing them, and then experiencing the results for myself. And that's what I talk from. I don't talk from a place of just studying, having knowledge, studying books, having certificates, this or that. I don't, and I don't believe in that way of teaching. For me, the best way to teach and share, the best teachers and guides are those who actually do and are doing the process themselves, and who then love and are good at guiding others and transferring that wisdom to others. Or better than transferring that wisdom, helping others see that for themselves, which is my way of teaching and guiding. I don't want to give you any information for you to believe in by yourself, but just because I say it, I want to help you see the truth for yourself, your truth. And that's what really matters for me. And that is something that I very much agree with the Buddha, where he said, don't trust me just because I'm the Buddha. Don't believe me just because I'm the Buddha. Come and see for yourself. And that's exactly the way that I see things. My goal is to help you come and see for yourself. Not me telling you what to believe, what to think, but helping you see the truth for yourself so that you can walk your path in a better, happier, safer, more effective way. Because after all, I know this from personal experience, that this path, this journey of healing, growth, and awakening can be hard. And that's being not too strong with my words there. It can be very hard, very challenging. It can be very difficult, lonely even sometimes, but it can be very, very difficult to do. And unfortunately, that's why most people never do it, because they're afraid of it. Or the people that try to do it, that try to walk this path, they easily get overwhelmed, lost, confused, and they get stuck and then able to continue moving forward. Or they just give up because it's too hard. So they just prefer to go back to the old life of just being stuck and coping, but at least it's not as hard as doing this difficult journey. And because of that, most people never do it, or they try to do it but fail, or get stuck, or don't progress as much as they could. And that fills me, of course, with sadness. My goal is to help people do that. And that's why I created this podcast. That's why I created all my courses, all my work, my platform, everything, is to give people like you who are walking or trying to walk this path of healing, growth, transformation, awakening, all the support, guidance, and resources that you need to make this path walkable in a safer way, more effective way, a faster way, and really, most importantly, above all, enjoyable way. Because you have to make the journey enjoyable. If it's not enjoyable, then why are you doing it for? And I'm not saying that it will not be challenging. It will still be challenging. But you will have all the resources and the support you need to overcome those challenges. And so it will be challenging and enjoyable. Because when something is enjoyable, you do it much better, faster, with more motivation. So my biggest goal here is to make it not only safer, more effective, and faster for you, but more enjoyable. So instead of you're walking this path and it's hard and it's creating suffering, it's the opposite. It's creating joy, purpose, and meaning for you. That's my goal and my mission. So that's where most of what I'll share with you comes from. It's from my own walk, from my own path. That's why I call this Talk the Walk. Because I'm talking my walk, that's what I'm sharing with you. The way this name came to life was that I often tell my students, people say all the time that you should not only talk your talk, but you should walk your walk. You should walk your talk. And I think that's good, right? Especially for all the coaches and teachers and guides and everything that's out there. All those people who are trying to teach other people how to do this stuff, how to do this work. It's very important that they walk their talk, that they don't just preach it, but actually apply what they're saying. Unfortunately, we see a lot of people just telling others what to do, but they themselves are not doing it. So of course, you should walk your talk. But for me, it goes way beyond that walking your talk. For me, it's not what I'm doing. I'm not talking what to do and then walking it. That's not what I'm doing, although that itself would be nice. But what I'm doing is the opposite. I'm walking my path. I started by walking my path. And because of that, I wanted to share it. So I'm not walking my talk, I'm talking my walk. I'm here to talk the walk. I'm walking and now I want to share it with you. I want to help you do the same. So I'm talking the walk. And that's the origin of this podcast. It was in a recent in-person retreat that I did that one of my previous students was there and now is my community leader said, oh, that should be your name for the podcast. And I loved it. So that's where it comes from. Talk the walk. And that's where most of the wisdom that you'll learn here comes from my own walk, which I'm talking. Now, not just that, because I do think that personal experience and your personal path and wisdom should be the foundation of what you teach and what you share, but not alone, because there are many other amazing people, amazing programs, amazing modalities, traditions, techniques out in the world that also help people heal, transform, grow, awaken. And they're great and they're helping people. So what I've done is I've not only decided to do my own walk, but I've decided to study, train, research pretty much all of these other modalities that are out there in the world, whether that is forms of spirituality, therapy forms like parts work, IFS, hypnotherapy, inner child, shadow work, other programs, coaching programs, other teachers, anything you can think. I have studied it, practiced it, continue to study it, continue to research it. And I think I'm very successful at that from what my students tell me. I try to integrate everything into a cohesive framework and understanding. And I try to integrate all of those programs, sources, modalities with my foundational wisdom from my own path and create a powerful and cohesive framework for personal healing and transformation and growth and awakening. Because if you think about it, while it's nice that there are many tools and techniques out there, right? Right now there's like all kinds of techniques, therapy, breathwork, whatever it is. There's a lot of that. That's beautiful. But that can also be very overwhelming and confusing for people, especially for those who are beginning. But for everyone, like, okay, what should I do? Some people tell me to do that. Some people tell me to do that. Which is the right technique? Which is the right process? Which one should I use, right? You just feel more confused and overwhelmed about what you should do. So I decided also to help alleviate that, because all of those tools have a place, but you cannot just look at them as isolated tools. You have to have a bigger understanding of the entire process, the entire framework of healing, of transformation and awakening, and then see where each tool fits. You have to create a cohesive framework, a system that is like the blueprint that you follow, and then all of those tools have their place there. And you know exactly where to use each one, why and how, and what is best to use when. Even though that's hard for most people and overwhelming, I'm very good at doing that, especially from what my students tell me. So I have created such an approach that integrates everything. It's an integrated and a holistic approach to healing, transformation, growth, awakening, that brings all of these tools together with my own wisdom as a foundation and creates a step-by-step process to help you heal and transform. And so that's what I'll be sharing here as well. Not just my personal wisdom, but my personal wisdom integrated with all the other tools, modalities, programs, techniques that are out there that are great at helping people as well. You get the best of both worlds, and it also eliminates all the confusion. So this will not just be another voice, this will not just be another process, another technique, another modality, another program. No, this is beyond all of that. I'm not bringing you another program, another technique, another theory. I'm bringing you an integrated approach of all the ones that exist. An integrated, holistic, cohesive, step-by-step path for healing, transformation, growth, and awakening. And I think that's what you need right now. I think that's very much needed right now. So that's what I'm bringing you. And I hope you like it. I hope it's useful to you. And I've been talking already for some time. So this is enough for our first episode. I hope you're excited about this. I am very excited. I'm very looking forward to this project. I have so much to share, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Now you know me. Now you know where I'm coming from. I haven't shared much about me besides the journey itself, but yes, I'm also a medical doctor. I studied to be a medical doctor, then I worked for a while as a doctor, and then I stopped to dedicate myself fully to this project. So I have this podcast now. I have my Star Soul School, which is where I teach all my courses, all my programs, my coaching, my communities there. I have many other projects, courses, books coming. But yeah, I think the essential that you need to know about me is my own process, my own journey, and why I'm here. And I hope that aligns with why you're here. So if you are on a journey of healing, growth, transformation, awakening, or if you're wanting to begin that journey, then you're in the right place. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being on that journey, because not only will it change your life, but the world needs you to do that now more than ever. So thank you. And my hope, my wish for you and my mission here is to make that journey more successful for you, easier, better, safer, more effective, faster, and above all, more enjoyable. I'll see you in the next episode, and let's do this. As I always say, may you be happy, and may you do good, and may you be happy doing good. Thanks for listening to this episode of Talk the Walk. If you enjoyed it, like us and send it to someone who you think will like it too. We love your feedback and interaction, and you're welcome to leave us a comment or review, ask a question, or just reach out. Lastly, if today's conversation stirred something in you, remember, you don't have to walk this path alone. Our Star Soul Skill community is where these conversations continue, where you can connect with others on similar journeys and access the courses and support designed to help you integrate this work into your daily life. You will find everything at starsoulschool.com, and the link is in the show notes. See you next time.